Hello, everyone. Pastor Tom here at the Good Church of God, and I am in the just the beginning stages of a marriage series that is, I think, going to be super helpful to anyone who's married or if you're dating. I just know that people are struggling so much these days with their relationships, and I have made a personal vow to God to do everything that I can to be of help to people in relationships. So anyway, that's why I'm doing this series and this particular message this week. It's in a series called Lies Hollywood Tells Us About Love and Romance. And one of those lies is that being in love makes communication easy. If you see so many of the things that the movies that are out there, it just makes it look like if you're in love that it really doesn't take hardly any effort to communicate, and it takes a whole lot of effort. So I want to show you some really practical ways to communicate better with your loved one, and I'll be doing that this Sunday at 10:30. Another thing that I'm doing as a supplement to this series, since communication is such a struggle in marriages or relationships in general, is that I am currently making a series of 7 short videos on communication that you and your loved one hopefully can watch together, or if the only way you can do it is to watch it separately, that's okay as well. But I am, again, making these right now, and I currently have 3 done out of 7, and I will be releasing them one day at a time next week, starting on Monday, on our YouTube page for the Ithaca Church of God, and then also our Facebook page, and then we have a church app that it'll be on there as well. So there will be lots of ways that you can find this. But what I thought I would do is give you a sneak preview of what this video series is like. And I'm going to show you today video number 2, or day 2 of this communication training that I want you to go on. And this will give you an idea of what I'll be releasing next week. And so I hope that you'll enjoy it and that you'll be watching for this video series next week. So here we go. Now take just a few moments and watch this video on communication. Welcome back to day 2, or video 2 of the Better Communication in 7 Days video course. So today we're going to talk about feeling and action. Whenever we say something to someone or do something that affects someone else, we're moving through a 2-step cycle, and we don't even realize it, perhaps. First, we experience a feeling which makes us want to take some kind of action. And the second part of the cycle is that we review that action and decide whether or not to take it. So let's do that again. And that it's a 2-step cycle. First, we experience a feeling which makes us want to take some kind of action. And secondly, then we review that action and decide whether or not to take it. Now, poor communicators don't understand that these are 2 separate steps. They believe that they have a feeling and then they react both at the same time. So people will say things like, "You made me yell at the kids," because they believe that their reactions and their feelings are the same thing. Mature communicators know that this isn't the case. They understand that feeling and action are 2 separate steps. They acknowledge that their feelings may be strong, but feelings can't make you do anything. So that excuse of "you made me yell at the kids" is not true. Feelings can't make us do something. We have to decide what we're going to do with that feeling and how we're going to act on it. Mature communicators have learned that even when angry, they don't have to react impulsively. They acknowledge their anger, pause, perhaps even pray, which is super powerful. And once they've calmed down, they mindfully decide what the most effective course of action to take would be. All right, so when I said pray, you might think, like I have time to, get into this big long prayer with God. No, just do a 3-second prayer. Simply say, God help me, God help me, God help me. 3 times. And that momentary pause of even 3 seconds can do wonders, because it takes your mind, even for 3 seconds, off of perhaps how you want to react, and it puts it on God. It lets you recognize that God is observing the situation, and that God is present, and that God is there to help. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 26 through 27 says this: "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold." So let's talk about this. The Bible says that we don't have to sin when we get mad. Do not let the sun go down is a phrase that is talking about a 24-hour period. In other words, make sure that you do not let your anger boil and fester inside of you for a couple days or 3 days or a week. But instead, within 24 hours, you need to have settled down to the point where you can calmly discuss the issue. And remember this: if you are not calm, you will sin in some way in your anger. It may not be a huge blow up, but in some way you will do the wrong thing if you're not calm. You won't be as present, you won't be as sensitive, you won't be as kind, you won't be as loving. In some way, you will not do the right thing if you do not calm down before you try to work out this problem. So then 24 hours after the incident, which, for many of you, it won't take that long. It might take 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. But you do need to calm down. Occasionally, 24 hours might not have given you enough time to properly sort through your feelings. You might have calmed down, but you still can't exactly figure out how to express yourself or exactly what's going on. So you might need more time until you can have a productive conversation. Now, if this is the case, you still need to communicate that with your mate within 24 hours. So you need to let your mate know that you are upset, but tell them that you just can't talk yet because you just don't know exactly how to express what you're feeling. So be honest with them. Tell them, I've got something inside of me that I want to share. I want to get out. I need to, but I don't want to say it in the wrong way. I want to think it through. So give me some time. But you need to do that within that 24-hour period. Even if you're not able yet to fully share, you need to let your mate know what's going on, because our mind is made up in such a way that if we don't really understand what's going on with the other person, our mind will invent all sorts of things, and the scenarios that we invent aren't good when we're upset or when we're wondering what our mate is thinking. Now then, you need to agree on a time when the both of you will sit down and talk. So once again, if you can't talk about it within the 24 hours, at least let your mate know you're upset and that you want to talk about it, and then agree on when you will come back and talk to one another. Both of you just say, okay, let's let's come back tonight at dinner and talk about it, or whenever it might be. Set a time, maybe set an occasion in which to talk about it, and then talk, because it's unfair and it's unhealthy to make your spouse wonder why you are being silent or distant. So initial communication must happen within 24 hours of the incident. It doesn't mean that the situation is going to totally be resolved. Sometimes it can be, but not always. But we still need to communicate. So let's talk a little bit about feelings. Mature communicators understand that they can't stop themselves from experiencing feelings or emotions. Feelings rise up within us of their own accord, much like when we have hunger pains. I mean, you can't make yourself be hungry, and you can't make yourself stop being hungry just by thinking about it. And that's the way feelings are. The first thing that mature communicators understand is how to accept those feelings that are naturally going to happen. Accepting your feelings means that you learn to experience them. You can't always fix your feelings, nor should you numb them with alcohol, drugs, social media, shopping, or other pleasurable activities. Feelings need to be acknowledged as a part of being human. So you're going to have feelings when you're communicating with people. Some of those feelings are great, and some of them are uncomfortable and not so good. And you can't stop yourself from that, but instead accept it as being human, and then experience them, and then use them to your advantage and your partner's advantage toward helping to resolve the situation. The second thing that mature communicators understand about feelings is that feelings are often based on imagined scenarios. Feelings are rarely based on reality. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Psychologists say that feelings lie about 50% of the time. And I say it's rarely based on reality, where, again, 50% of the time it is, but so often, even if we're right about the feeling, we still exaggerate and we make it seem so much worse than it really is. Again, so many times the percentage is really high. Just off the top of my head, it's something like 80% or 85, maybe even 90% of the things that we worry about and the conclusions that we draw don't come true, or at least they don't come true in the way that we think they are going to come true. So feelings, we've got to be careful about feelings. So here's a quick review. Mature communicators understand that feelings and action are two separate steps. They acknowledge that their feelings may be strong, but feelings can't make them do anything. They acknowledge their anger, they pause, pray, and once they've calmed down, they mindfully decide what the most effective course of action to take would be. So here's some questions. Do you understand the two-step cycle that we go through when communicating? And secondly, do you tend to quickly react when your mate angers you instead of pausing and thinking about the action that you're going to do next? So here's the assignment. Watch the video one more time. take note of things that stand out to you and discuss them with your partner if possible. So in the next video, you'll learn about the importance of your personal boundaries as it relates to your relationship. And you'll also learn that your mate needs to have boundaries as well. So see you in the next video.